Hey, game players, GamerDad here, and it's been a while, but here we go. We're going to do another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and today we are going to be covering the combat mod system. Um, it is not a very complicated system, but it is a little tricky, I guess. It's an older system, but I know there are new players that may be struggling a little bit with the system. So first off, what is a combat mod? If you play any other game as in the mobile genre or even in any type of hero collector, RPG, or something like that, a combat mod is basically a gear or armor or just any item that you would equip to your character to make them stronger. For instance, you know, this guy's got 1,504 defense. Equip that, and now he's got 2,464 defense. Um, it just the combat mods are a way to increase your stats, your resistances. They do a lot. There is a lot that can be done, and we're gonna go over all of them. But first, let us go to my pre-made team that I had just for this little tutorial. Somewhere down here. Too many teams I got to clean up. All right. Edit team. So, okay, combat mods. First off, we should know that combat mods are divided into four different, what they call sets. We have the attack set, the defense set, the HP set, and the critical damage set. Now, within all these different sets, you have, oh my god, what would be the word for that? You have different attributes, I guess. So the first one we're gonna say is this one on the top left. That would be your stat slot. We're just gonna use the word slot. It's a fun word, but the stat slot. All these mods, when you click on the little box right here in the top left, it shows you only the mods that can be put in there, and it'll show depending on what set you've got it clicked on. So you can mix and match sets, but it's better not to, and I'll explain that in a minute. But so the top left, that does your stats. It'll increase things like defense, health, crit chance, and attack. That's basically it. Very basic. It is what it is. Your top right set over here, this is your trait slot. This will give you attack against a certain trait or defense against a certain trait. That's basically it. The top two are very basic. The bottom ones, that's where you get a little bit more options, so to speak. Your bottom right is your resistance. Now, every status effect in the game has a resistance except for infection, and they're now starting to put out some tunes or characters. Tunes is just a lot easier than saying characters that have infection resist. So I'm going to assume that mods are coming, and that makes me very sad because I built up a really good, or not, maybe not really good, but my infection team is what gets me through almost everything in this game. But But if you ever, like, everything's by symbol, and it'll tell you up here, like when you click on it, that's bleed resist, heal reduction resist, burn resist. After a while, when you start looking at this, like I know that this one here, taunt resist, defense down resist, slow resist, maim resist, HP reduction resist, stun resist. I mean, crosshairs resist. When you play the game, you get to learn this. You do understand the symbols more. Um, if you're ever unsure about something, you could hit right here, this info button, and it'll tell you what it does. So anything that you want to resist, it's in this bottom right corner. Now, this next one, this is your auxiliary slot. Basically, everything that wasn't covered in the previous 3 slots is in here. And I really do believe that they should have split this up, because there is so much going on here. This is stuff that happens on a basic attack, like bleed on attack, burn on attack. That's about it on the bleed, lifesteal on attack, and all that. It also covers things that happen to you. Oh, I'm sorry. The best one, AP drain, in my opinion. Things that happen to you when you get attacked. For instance, reflect damage or graze. But then it also covers things like attack while impaired, defense while stunned, attack while taunted, defense while confused. There is so much going on in this slot. I really do think that they could have split it up and given us 6 boxes. But I think what they were trying to do is, all right, hold on. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. I wrote out a whole script and I didn't like it. I don't like the script, but so I'm just kind of going off the cuff, mainly because I did the video, but it's so small. I don't know why. I had to get a different screen recorder, and I really just didn't want to do it again. So sorry. What happens if you notice? I have a 5 slot bonus defense plus 600. I'm using the defense set. So when you use 3 or more mods of the same set, you get a bonus. The more you have, let's see. Let's go to a different character that doesn't have any mods right now. I don't think I. Yeah, for instance, Andrea here. All right, like if you were to. Yeah, I sold all my bronze mods, so I don't have any cheap mods. All right, here we go. So if you were to put one there, you got nothing. If you were to put one there, notice you only have 200 defense there, right? But now let's say you were going to replace them with silver. Now you get 235. So the rarity of your mod affects the bonus, okay? So most people that are playing the game for a while will have a bunch of gold mods, right? So you'll get 650, but let's say you get your platinum mods. Some people have them. So now you have 690 set bonus. And so definitely the higher rarity mods, the better the bonus. And I do think that they didn't separate this auxiliary mod was because they didn't want to give 2 set bonuses to each character, which, considering how little you get for even using these platinum mods and a gold mod. I mean, 465, that's still not that great. I mean, you can get defense and HP or defense and attack or whatever, and it's still not going to be that good. And maybe you noticed when I was clicking around, wow, I'm off. I totally get away from myself. Anyway, I really don't think that they wanted to give each character two different set bonuses, which is why I think that they made this smorgasbord jumble of effects in this one category right there. But I forgot to mention this one here. You can equip any mod from any slot or category, I guess, so to speak. So if you wanted to say attack up and defense up, you can. So this one, your utility mod, it gives basically whatever you want. One from any other category. So that's that. So that's the mods, the categories, the traits, and all that. All right. So now let's go into let's go to Eric and let's explain why I modded him with defense and why I did what I did. So Eric over here, he is a healer. He's a reviver. If you look at his skills, which they're not maxed out because I've never used him actually, except for this video. His rush says revive one teammate with 25% of their max HP. All teammates get 40% defense for 2 turns, regain up to 25% of the max HP for 2 turns, and recover from attack penalties. He is not going to be doing any damage. Look at that attack. That's his base attack. I mean, you could probably build him up where he would be decent on attack, but that's not his point. You'd have to go out of your way to give him any kind of threat. Sure, you could use a big weapon and a big leader to give the attack, and then equip him with attack mods, but he's still not going to be anywhere near what you would get with an attack or damage dealing toon. So for me, if I were to use this guy, I would definitely use either defense or health. Now his base stats are pretty even on the health and the defense. I think his defense was a little bit higher. That's why I went with the defense set, because all of these mods give base stat improvements. They're not percentages, so you could have got I could have gotten away with just doing a health HP set and increasing his HP, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to do defense. But I did give him some health, a whopping 90, with this mod. So obviously it would be more if I leveled it up. Don't care to do so. It's a waste of resources. Then he's blue or tough, so I gave him defense against yellow. Not that it matters. Most of the people attacking are S class, and he's just going to get destroyed. But for their all intents and purposes, you use this the trait stat over here slot to either defend against something that you're weak against, attack something that you're strong against. For instance, this blue, if I really wanted to, I could give him attack against red because he would get the automatic trait bonus and then extra attack on top of it. So you would do that. Or let's say you know you're going to be coming up against a lot of yellows. You can give him, I'd rather do defense against yellow, but there's an argument that could be made to give him attack against yellow just to remove the penalty that he would get from attacking the toon that he's weak against. But I'd rather just give the defense. Maybe he lasts a little bit longer. So then, based on his kit, where you want him rushing, you don't care if he attacks or not. You just want him to rush to keep your team alive. So I would give him impair resist. And maybe if somebody tried to neutralize or impair him, he could avoid that and keep your team alive. So that's that with that. And then my favorite auxiliary mod, especially with characters that don't have huge attack numbers, that are basically just AP, like gifters to the enemy. When you attack them, the enemy gets their AP, is to give them AP drain. So you have a chance of mitigating the amount of AP that you give to the other person. Also, a lot of times somebody will have their rush active. You hit them with this, and now they don't have their rush active anymore. So it's almost like a budget neutralizer. If I don't know what else to put here, this is what I put. So almost every character I have is going to have this, basically. But that's Eric. That would be your medic. You want them to rush. You want them to be able to use their rushes just to keep your team alive. Let's skip Yumiko for a second. We'll come back to her. Now, conversely, we have Amber. What she does is she attacks things, she kills them, and then she attacks again and kills them again. With her, as with most attacking toons, you want to pump up the attack as much as possible. So with her, you'll notice I did the attack set, and the first thing I did was attach this platinum attack mod. She's green, so I did attack versus the yellow, just so she would be able to do a little bit more damage to the trait that she's weak against. Why didn't I do defense? Look at that defense, 1048. And these traits, these are percentages. So let's say I did do that, 50% defense against yellow with a 1000 defense stat is still 1500. I mean, it's pitiful. It's really pitiful. So I don't even bother. You're gonna need the rest of your team to keep her alive, to keep people from attacking her. So then again, also down here, you want her rushing, you want her attacking. So we do resistance to stun. Now we could have done taunt or confuse, but if she's attacking, she has a chance to do some really big damage. So we don't care too much if she gets taunted or confused, because she's still going to attack. With her, you don't want her sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Then we have impair resist, so that she can potentially keep rushing when she can. And because I didn't know what else to put on her on the bottom left, I just do, like I said, AP drain. That's my go-to for everything. I've got a million of them. These bleed and burn mods, like if you were to use them, 226 burn is pitiful. It's meaningless. Bleed on attack could be useful if you build a bleed team. There's no other reason to do that, and even then, I don't know. It's only for one turn, so these bleed and burns, they really need to go back and look at them, because they are absolutely useless. You could conceivably put attack while impaired or whatever, but I just think AP down. And then graze, you could do graze, but that might be like a last ditch effort to keep her alive. I don't know. Um, I, I got her way after she was done being useful, so I've never used her. I really don't know what I would put on her. So I said, when I don't know, I just go with AP Drain. Let's see. So let's go with Andrea. She's a shield. If I had a good roster, excuse me, if I had a good roster, this would be Frost. It would be basically the same thing. Her mods are going to be the same. Defense character. You want defense. Now you're definitely going to want defense, and then you're also going to want. Unfortunately, I have no HP. If I had HP, I would put HP there. Okay, or either one, just to buff up the HP just a little bit. But you definitely want the defense, and then being yellow, you'd want defense against green. Down here, pick a whichever. Like right now, there's a lot of confused. There's a lot of stun. I mean, there's a lot of everything. So just whichever you're running into more often. There's a lot of infection, so there's a case to be made for HP down resist. Or does she have a? No, she doesn't have a weapon. So I mean, if she had an important weapon in her hand, you could even go for disarm resist. But we'll do the heal reduction resist, so she can't get infected to die. That sounds good. And then for her, I would actually do graze. She's gonna get attacked being the shield, and you want even though it's a small chance, this is a minor chance. I think that goes up actually as let's see, as the quality of the mod goes up. Does it? I'm not sure on that. A gold gives you a minor chance. Do I have another one? Nope. It's a minor chance to reduce the damage by 22% or whatever your mod is. So let's say I think I have one that's about 50%. So if she were to take 1,000 damage, it would a minor chance to cut it down to 500. It's not going to proc all the time. Most of the time, it probably won't. But she's going to get attacked. So the more she gets attacked, the more it's likely that it's going to hit. No, I don't want to confirm that. Reset that. All right, Yumiko. Yumiko is a support character. Her rush that deals damage, I think it goes up to 350. 325% damage to 2 enemies. 2 others get 60 attack, 60 crit, and elusive for 2 turns. It's not a bad rush, but it's not like a game-winning rush, you know? You're not going to completely blow any team out of the water with that rush, especially when you have free tunes like Kenny that do the damage bonus much, much better. And again, she's outdated because of the switch to S class. And I'm not sure she was ever completely useful anyway. I'm not sure. I took a break from the game around the time of 6 stars, and I've been catching up ever since. But anyway, for her, it was either her attack is pathetic at 1,100, so I didn't even bother with attacking. But what I did do was crit chance, and I did crit chance because of her specialist skill, which is confounding. Excuse me. Take that off. Thank you. Confounding. When this character performs a critical attack on a human enemy, that enemy will be confused for 1 turn. Now there is confuse resist going around on attack teams, mainly because of Jackie. It's confused. So there's not much going around on defense though, because who attacks with confuse, right? Besides me. So you want her to be able to, you want her to be able to crit as much as possible. So rather than attack, rather than defense, you just do crit chance, give her a better chance of attacking. Um, Her defense is low, so the trait you're not going to one shot anybody. You're not going to even do a whole lot of damage to even blue characters. She's there to confuse people when she hits them. To excuse me, when she can get her rush off to boost the team. She's your support. She's not there to kill anybody. Maybe she can do a mop up attack once in a while. If you got a couple low HP guys, she might be able to take out one or two. But for the most part, if you rush with her, you're just trying to make sure that everybody else, when they attack, does better. Um, so we're just going to go defense with green because defense stat sucks. HP, it was the higher one, so we just went with HP. And then we're going to keep her. Now, again, this is a character that if she's attacking, she has a chance to do her confounding. Well, you don't want her stunned. You don't care if she's confused. You don't care if she's taunted. You don't care if she's impaired, really. As long as she's attacking, she can be helpful. Yes, she has a chance if she's confused to hit one of your own teams. But again, most people bring confuse resist, not confuse when they're attacking. So, there's not much confusion going around. If you're going to go up against a Jackie, you don't bring her, you know. Um, but if she's attacking, that's what you get. And again, AP drain because none of these other ones are um, even useful. I mean, if you wanted to maybe put attack while taunted, perhaps. I mean, you can, but again, she's not going to be doing any damage, so you use her for control. You want to confuse and you want to stop them from uh, being able to rush. That's her role, so that's what I would put there. Last but not least, Scar. Now he's interesting because of his kit. He heals himself. He wants to get hit. His specialist Bide says, "Attack me, attack me," and he's going to taunt and taunt and taunt. And I mean, this character, like seriously, he before S classes, right before the S classes came out, and even at the beginning, this character was winning me games because of the amount of taunt that he has. I would attack with him, defend with him, but so now Bide says that he has to take 2,000 damage, and then he returns 3,000 damage. S class 3,000 isn't a whole lot, but you want him to take damage, but you don't want him to die. So I boosted up his HP because he's got to take 2,000 points of damage to get a specialist off. So the more HP he has, the more likely that's going to happen before he dies. So you can see I got almost 4,000 in HP on there. There's that. Defense, you want him to take damage. So that we're going to keep him alive by taking defense versus alert. We don't want him stunned, and we don't want him impaired. We don't need him attacking, we just don't want him to not be able to use his rush, and we don't want him to not be able to use his active skill. When he rushes, he regains all his health. He taunts 4 or 5 people. I don't even remember at this point. I haven't used it in a while. So he's going to constantly be getting attacked, and you just want him to be able to rush whenever he can. You don't want him impaired, and you don't want him stunned. You really don't want him confused or anything else either, but you can only pick 2, and these are the 2 that affect him the most. So that's that. Now in this bottom left, normally because of his abysmal attack stat, I would do AP drain. But in best case scenario, he's going to attack once, maybe twice, and then for the rest of the game, he's going to be getting attacked constantly and rushing and being attacked. So he's not going to attack as much. So I put reflect damage 27%. There's a better chance to reflect 27%. So if he takes 1,000 damage, he gives back 270. It's meaningless damage that's returned, but it kind of goes with the whole bide thing. So, and again, this I hate this slot. Um, I'm sure somebody out there that if you ask them, they'd say, no, this is the best slot because there's so much you can do with it because there's so many options, but all those options suck. So that's that. That's how I modded or would mod any of these characters. Um, you need you really need to look at what that tune brings to the table as far as their stats and their base kit and all that. What did they do? What do you need them to do? You know, what's going to hurt this character the most when deciding what mods to use. But now you'll notice that I've used attack set, I've used um, attack set on her, I've used HP set on him. I think on him too. Nope, I used defense on him. You know which set I have not used? The critical chance. Sorry, if it was critical chance, it would be amazing, but it's critical damage. Now, no character is ever guaranteed to hit a critical attack unless possibly, let's say Mateo, when he does his active, he gets a 100% chance to crit, but again, his attack isn't that high. You know, in general, you're going to get more out of building up a character's attack damage than you are out of building up their crit damage, because the more attack you have, the more crit you're doing naturally. So if you have, let's say, 1,000 attack, right, and you crit, you're going to do 1,500 damage. And we're just ignoring the bonuses and all that and the trait bonuses. So every time you attack, you're going to do 1,000 damage. If you crit, you're going to do 1,500 damage. Let's say you do 10 attacks, right? And you have 25% crit. Okay. So you do 10 attacks, you're going to hit 2 crits. So at 1,000 damage, you're going to do 10,000 damage and then another 1,000 damage on crit. So you're going to do 11,000 damage, right? But now let's say you do the crit chance, okay, and you bring your crit chance up to 50%, okay, but you lose 200 on your attack. So now for those same 10 attacks, right, you're going to do 800 damage. So that's 8,000 damage, and then you're going to do another, let's see, so half of that would be 400. All right, so I lost myself because I'm not looking at anything. Anyway, at 100 attack with 25% crit, you're going to do 15,000 damage. At 800 attack with 50% crit, you're only going to do like 1,200 damage or 12,000 damage or something like that. So, yes, crit chance is good, or crit damage is good, but in general, the more attack you have, the more damage you're going to be doing on average. Yes, if you can crit every time, you want crit damage, but that just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. And you'd say, well, maybe against walkers. No, because if you do 1 damage and you crit, if you have 1 attack and you crit, that walker's dead. So the damage is meaningless. Out of all 4, the crit damage is the one that I shy away from, unless you have an attacker and you just do not have attack mods for it, you know. But because let's see, I have the most just general. I mean, crit damage, you're going to do an extra 66, maybe 70% if you had all platinum mods. An extra 70%. So if you, and that's based off just the crit damage that you already do. So I mean, let's say you do have a thousand attack with a 50% chance to do your crit. So you do 1500 damage, and then you add another 66 to that. So you're boosting it from 1500 to about 2200, roughly. And that's if you crit. Yes, there's a big boost because normally we're talking about 10,000 damage on some of these characters nowadays, but it's just not worth it. I and I think many other people would just say, just build up your attack because every time you attack, you know you're getting that bonus. So that's that. I hope this helps. I know I kind of go off the rails a little bit, but I do hope that I've given you a little bit of understanding on how some of this stuff works. But if not, leave a comment. So maybe I could revisit this. But take care. Be safe. Be good. And keep playing. Later.